What's going on, good people, and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unstoppable. I am your host, Michelle Farley. I am so glad that you are here. If you are returning, thank you so much. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you stay around, check out, see what this girl has to say. This is a bi monthly podcast where I talk to my 40 plus something women and men about chasing, pursuing, capturing, accomplishing those dreams and goals that we have set in our heart to do. And so on this podcast, it's really about letting us know that it's never too late to chase the dreams that are in our heart. So on the last podcast, we talked about life happens, right? So you can have all these grandiose ideas of what do you want, how you're going to get there, who you're going to marry, what you're going to do. But when life situations happen, we have to adapt, we have to pivot, right? Most people have to do those things. And for the most part, they are resilient in doing that. I think when it comes to being a creative, we sometimes think that we miss this window of opportunity. And after that window is closed, then that's it, right? We have to be a certain age and we have to, have limited responsibilities. And it's not, I don't believe that's it. It may not come in the picture that we originally thought, but it's still coming. And I think that um, being a creative in this age space, I feel like this is a prime time for me because a lot of the things that I worried about being able to prioritize as a 20 something, right? Or even an early 30 something. I don't have that. One, I've already experienced it. And two, I feel like now I'm in a good place because all those other things that I wanted in my life are in place, right? And so for me, I knew I wanted to be married. I wanted to have children. I have a child. I wanted to have certain things established. And I always worried about what if I do do these things and I get so wrapped up in my career that I'm not able to do that. Not saying that's a negative or a positive thing, but just saying for me, what I wanted, I did wonder about would I be so gung ho about the work and the opportunity that I would lose out on the other stuff that I valued for how I saw my life. And so while some may see that as I missed the opportunity because I did focus on these things, I feel like I'm not missing out on the other things that I wanted because I kind of established those, I did those things and I established those things now so that I can go forward into my purpose. Hopefully that makes sense. And so that got me to thinking about this episode in the podcast, and I was thinking that this theme for this episode would be embracing change, right? Shifting gears in your 40s. Okay, and so this is a segment of the show we talk about let's be clear. So I don't want to ever say that your 40s are always super amazing and there's no negative things about being 40, okay? Because the truth is things start hurting and bones start cracking and you have less energy. You could be energetic, but you might value a nap more than you did in your 20s and 30s. You may not be able to be the fastest runner or jogger that you used to be, but you're still able, to give it your all. Those are just the facts of growing older. It is a blessing to be older. You're still very much so have the heart and you can navigate your 40s. You do not have to lose your dreams or throw them to the side. It is a great combination. So your 40s, mind you, I've only been on this 40s train for a little while, but I would say that it's a great combination of life experience, right? When I talked about earlier about that grace part, it's so much clarity in being in your 40s and freeing and comfortable and not comfortable and boring, but just who you are, right? If you and your partner are if you're married or if you're in a relationship, you see the difference of being with someone in your 40s, right? It's an easy kind of love. It's an understanding kind of love. It's a grace that comes with that love. It's so many different layers of that. And I feel like it's the same thing for those dreams or aspirations that you have is that, okay, yeah, this may not have happened in my 20s and my 30s, but let me be clear, it does not mean that they are over for me. And in fact, this time around, I'm going to be so successful because I have the clarity. I'm not, asking two, three, 10 different people what they think. I'm just going what I know that I have my heart to do, and that is what's going to lead me. No, but I feel like this is the season of your life to explore your passions, to reinvent yourself, and redefine your success on your terms. Point blank. Period. Okay, let's be clear. 40 does not mean failure. 40 does not mean forget it. 40 does not mean um finished. It doesn't. It's the beginning, okay? And so you should celebrate all the incredible opportunities that are coming your way in this stage of life. It is your chance to not only embrace your passion, but to embrace your authenticity and chase those long held dreams and savor the journey with this newfound zeal for what's ahead. Okay, so this part of the show is I don't know what we'll call it yet, but let's say a little bit of homework. If you're listening to this podcast, I want you to do two things. One, this week, I want you to write down one thing that you want to get accomplished before your next birthday. Write that down, whatever that is. Write down one thing you want to get done before your next birthday. I'm going to share a link. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to share a link to my, it's a birthday year planner. I have this idea that a lot of people want to do these New Year resolutions around New Year's Day, and then you feel bad. You get 3-4 months in, and you haven't been able to accomplish what you thought you was going to do by the next New Year. And so I felt like, what about starting my New Year on my birthday? And what are the things I want to accomplish from the time for my birthday's in June? From June to June, what can I accomplish? And so I want you all to think about one thing, not a whole bunch, one thing that you want to get accomplished for before your next birthday. Now, if your birthday's coming up, and of course you don't have the full year, but you could say, you know what, not this birthday, but the one coming up in 2024. This is what I want to have accomplished by my next birthday. But I'm going to put a link into the planner there. It's free. All you have to do is just share your email and you will receive that in your inbox. But it's a good way to help visualize. And this is like a mood board, right? So it's not just writing down your goals, but like actually seeing like what it is, what represents what you want. And then you know, you can print it out. You can just, put it in your Google Docs, whatever it is, so that you know that there's one thing. There's one thing with all your responsibilities and all this other stuff that you have to do for other people, whether it be your family or your job. What is the other thing that you can do for yourself within your next birthday year that you want to see get accomplished? And I've been telling you, like, I've been doing this since had the idea back in the summertime. And I've done it and I've seen quite a few things happen so far. And so while it's great to have a vision, I love a big, good vision board, or writing it down, but you have to put some action behind it. But once you hold yourself accountable, right? Because for New Year's, it seems like everyone wants to do something for New Year just prove that they did something for New Year. But your birthday is your day, right? That's your New Year. That's the day to celebrate you and what you've learned and what you've accomplished. So think about the one thing that you would like to see accomplished or nearly accomplished by the time that your birthday comes back around. Okay? Think about that. All right. I didn't know what to expect when I was 40. What I did know is that all the ideas that I had about what I was going to do and accomplish by 40, a lot of those things hadn't happened. And I was I was focused so much on like these life accomplishments that I didn't realize like what else 40 would bring for me, because I felt like I kind of like I guess failed. Um But one of the things is like when I got 40, I got real clear about what it is that I was going after. I got real clear about being vocal to family, to friends. It was just this awakening moment of like, and I don't know, maybe that's like, being 40 and realizing like, the average age for like a black woman is like 80, in good health, that I'm like, okay, if I got 40 years left, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I accepting? What will I not allow myself to accept anymore? And understanding like I have all this freedom as an adult. I remember my aunt, like on my 40th birthday, she was like, "So now you are officially a grown woman." And I was like, I've been a grown woman for a minute. Like, what are you talking about? But she was like, 40 is when you look back over these last 40 years of your life. You've gone from a child to a teenager to a young adult to, being a young professional to like being a wife and a mother. You've experienced death, you've experienced health issues. Not saying like all of those things make you an adult or make you a grown woman, but she's like, you have life experience now. And more importantly than that, she told me, you have had life experiences and you have made choices, and now you know the importance of grace, extending grace, and how people extended grace to you. It was like a real powerful moment, right? And so I realized that there's something powerful about being 40. It's almost like it's exciting. Um, like you just the 20s, I felt like I was always full of anxiety, right? It was just craziness. Like not a lot of craziness, but enough craziness for me where I was like, I don't like this, right? It's some point in your 20s, and maybe it's like the latter point of your 20s, you're like, this, I just, no more of this nonsense, right? And 30, you're still trying to figure it out. But I think 30 is kind of scary for people who just were in their 20s, because when you're a teenager, you aspire to be in your 20s. You aspire to be 21 and 22 and 25. It seems really fun, and it is. It was fun. Then you get to your 30s and it's like, okay, what am I doing with my life? Okay. Like I can't just have jobs, even if they're well-paying jobs. Like I want a career. This is not what I want to do. Have I met the one yet? Do I want children? Like all these other like life events that we put on some type of calendar that kind of happens then. 40 is like all the dust settles and you realize like, okay, I put these self-imposed limitations on myself and no one else did. So I'm going to relax. I'm going to focus on what I control, and what I can't control, I can't control. And I'm going to start focusing on me, right? Inwardly and outwardly. And that was like powerful to me, right? So that was my aha moment where I felt like I was really um in a space to be what I wanted to be, right? In my own world of what I could create, in my own space of what I could create. How I thought success looked in my 20s and 30s is now how I view it in my 40s, right? And so because of that, I think that has given me the freedom to create and try new things. If some are successful or some are not as successful, but it's definitely helped me do that. And on a later podcast, I can actually share some more information. But as a today's date of September 26th, I am not able to share a lot of the things that are happening in the pipeline, but I will be. So my point to that is saying that the winds of change have definitely set my sails, and I am soaring, and I'm loving where it's taking me. 40s are interesting. Now, mind you, I'm new to this 40s game. Okay. I've only been in it for a good 2 years, not even a full 2 years. I think it has a lot of opportunity where your 40s are no longer like, I don't know. When I was a kid, hearing 40 just seems like super old, right? It is a blessing to be older, of course. But now, as a 40 something, I really see like, I feel like I'm grounded. I know who I am. I know what I will accept. I know what I will not accept. I'm very clear in my intentions. very intentional about relationships, and that can be friendships, family, etc. Like I'm very clear on that. And whereas in my teens and in my 20s, um, it was just all over the place, right? I feel like I'm not mature. I always felt like I was mature, but I feel like I know for certain who I am. And for a long time I didn't know who I was. And so this is a great time for me of clarity. And I hope that it's a great time for those of you who are in their 40s. And even if you're not in your 40s and you're listening to this podcast, be clear that in your 20s and your 30s, you're definitely going to make some choices and some decisions that you're going to be like, oh my goodness, what was I thinking? And for the most part, most of those, most of those bad choices are really valuable life lessons, right? And they're going to help you with your life experience. And I think for me as a writer, a lot of those experiences will pop up in the work that I do and the things that I create. And it just puts a new lens on situations because it's coming personally from me. And I think that I wouldn't have been able to have written certain things if I hadn't had those personal experiences myself, right? And so my experience has definitely helped me craft better writing, and not just in screenwriting, but even as a copywriter. Like my 40s have been my late 30s and my 40s, just experiencing more life events have shaped the way that I think about the world around me, think about the world that I create, and also helps me to think about the world that my son will soon live in. And all of those things help me create stories around that. So it's pretty dope. And so I wanted to have notes this week because that was some of the feedback I got back from you all, and I appreciate it. This is a section where I asked Michelle. So I felt like I didn't want to be pretentious because I don't have all the answers. I'm just figuring this life thing out myself. But I wanted you all to be able to ask questions. So if you have a question, I don't have an email address yet, y'all, because I'm still working. I mean, I have an email address, but I don't want to give y'all that one. But if you have a question and you would like me to answer it on my next podcast, please go to my YouTube channel, Michelle Farley Writes, and go under this video, which will be Unscripted Unstoppable. You can look in the podcast thumbnail. And this episode is called Embracing Change, Shifting Gears in Your 40s. It might change, but right now that's the title. But it'll say episode 2. And put your questions in the comments section. So if you have a question, and unless you want to be anonymous, then we have to figure something else out. But or you can always DM me your questions as well. And you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube at Michelle Farley Writes. You can find me on Instagram at Michelle Elaine 2.0. And then my business Instagram is Michelle Farley Writes. But if you do have a question that you want me to answer, and I'll do my best or find someone who may have the answers for you, hit me up there. This podcast comes out bi-monthly. So I try to do it on the 15th at the end of the month. So for every month. So the next episode will go up after this one will go up October 15th. So if you have those questions, you get it to me before then, if you get it to me before October 11th, then I will be sure to answer them and put them on the next podcast. All right, guys. So I hope that you enjoyed this little powwow session today. Hope you understand that embracing your change or shifting gears in your 40s does not mean that you have to give up, lose hope, or just, throw in a towel. It just simply means that we have to pivot, we have to redirect, and we have to be stronger and more resilient than we were before, but we are more than capable of doing so. And so I encourage you all to do your homework, figure out what it is that you want, how you're going to get it. And to the next time we speak, I am wishing you joy, peace, hope, love, all that beautiful stuff. And we'll talk real soon. Bye.